Hey everyone, Colin once again, and welcome back to another video, and back to reacting to another trailer that just came out about I think like last week, maybe last week and a half. So, well, first of all, I gotta say this, because to me the trailer sucked, straight out, saying the trailer sucked, and the from the title, it's the remake of The Running Man. The Running Man, which I have right here, the special edition. So the original Running Man from 1987, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Which, by the way, is funny enough, another remake that sucked. That was a remake of an Arnold film, Total Recall, with Colin Farrell. That film sucked. And I also think that there was some kind of a little. There was like a little. I think there was like a little bit of elements of I think it was like a little bit of elements of the Colin Farrell remake of Total Recall into this remake. I think there was something. I mean, guys, I saw like a little bit similarities though, but well, one thing for sure, I would say this: there were no lens flares in the in this remake of the Running Man. I would say that. I'll give it that though. But overall, going back with this, first of all, the original The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I love. I love The Running Man. It is one of my favorite Arnold movies. And speaking of which I'm gonna have to do a video of my top favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. I've never done that before, so I'll have to eventually have to do a listing of that. But it's gonna take me time get which I really want, which I really think of before I make the final judgment, though. So, because otherwise I'm just gonna end up switching it off camera. I'm always like, oh, I should have done that. Maybe I should have switched this. So I'll have to do a thorough checking of which Arnold film is my favorites. But I would definitely say this is definitely one of my favorites. There's a lot of them I love. A lot of films from Arnold I love. I love End of Days, the Terminator, especially 1 and 2. Um, Predator I love, which came out the same year as The Running Man. I love Commando. Um, Eraser I enjoy. That was a pretty cool badass film. I love Jingle All the Way, fun family film for Arnold. Uh, Kindergarten Cop. There's just a great deal of Arnold stuff that I just grew up loving, and just but this is one of them. Very very fun film and a good cast. I mean, with only Arnold, but you got Richard Dawson. Richard Dawson, who was the original host of Family Feud. And and I think he played a good bad guy. Which also Rich Dawson. I also see him often on the old Match Game show. You wouldn't think of him playing as a bad guy though, but it fits though because hey, first of all, he's a game show host, so it'd be a much fitting role for him. Maria Cochino Alonso, who I enjoy in Predator 2, and the late Yafikado, as well. May rest in peace, Yafikado. And you got other ones like Jim Brown, who also passed away. Who voices Butch Meathook. He was also in Tim Burton's Mars Attacks. Here in this, he's one of the challengers. The Fireball. Then you have Jesse Ventura also starring in Predator with Arnold. So yeah, it was just a fun film, and of course the many one-liners that Arnold says in this film. Hey, Christmas tree. Oh, what happened to Buzzsaw? Oh, he had a split. Or is I'm going to take my fist, I'm going to ram it through your stomach and rip your goddamn spine. Yeah, there's a lot of fun Arnold liners in this film, but I love The Running Man. This film, no, sorry, I'm about 5 minutes in, so I'll be okay. This film, okay, first of all, the director. It's directed by Edgar Wright, who I love Edgar Wright. I love Shaun of the Dead, one of my all-time favorite comedy films and one of my top two favorite zombie films. I love Shaun of the Dead. I love Hot Fuzz. World's End, sadly, not so much though. But I would already say that World's End, also with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, I can already say it's already looking better than this movie. I can already say that. I enjoy Baby Driver. Not too many people would say so, but I enjoy Baby Driver. We also had with John Berthel, and of course, yes, Kevin Spacey, before he got hit with all those controversial stuff. But I enjoy Baby Driver. Um, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, I don't like. First of all, I'm not a fan of Michael Cera, and I'm not a fan of the whole kind of premise things. Yes, I know it's probably based on a was it a graphic novel or a comic book, but I wasn't a fan of Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I wasn't. What was it? The night and what was the night in solo what was it? A night in some solo it was that Brit film where the girl, I think it was originally like Anya Taylor Joy, and she like travels back into like the 70s to catch this killer. I wasn't really interested in that film either, so I forget what the title was, but it was like a night and something solo. I wasn't really big on that film, but it doesn't matter. But the thing is, though, like, but what was it? I love Shaun of the Dead. I love Hot Fuzz, though, and I enjoyed Baby Driver. Thing is, though, this could have been anybody who could have directed this film. I think this is just Edgar Wright. I think this is him to a nice paycheck for him because hey, he gets to direct not only just a remake, but a film that's based on a Stephen King story. But I'm surprised to say anybody could have directed this film. It looks like anybody could have directed this film. It doesn't look like the kind of style that Edgar Wright would direct. It doesn't look like it doesn't fit his direction style. It doesn't feel like that at all. It doesn't feel like an Edgar Wright movie. To me, at least to me, it doesn't. It isn't like the same style like Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz, even A World's End. It doesn't feel like it. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel like that type of film that Edgar Wright would make his style of movie making. It just doesn't feel like it. Okay, yeah, he gets to do it on a bigger budget. Okay, with much more, better cast members. But still, it doesn't feel like this is this type of film for him to make at all. So at the end of it, it's a nice paycheck for him. Stephen King, because yes, once again, it's based on Stephen King. Which, by the way, it's for this film, he used an alias name, Richard Beckman. It's Stephen King, okay. And I guarantee you this, that Stephen King is gonna praise this film like he did with Stephen King with his own with the 2017 remake of Shit and the sequel, or Pet Cemetery, the 2019 remake. To me, Stephen King nowadays, he's just full of shit. He'll just praise anything nowadays, except for The Shining, which he despises to death. I'm sorry, Stephen King, you're full of shit. Okay, you're full of shit on The Shining, which I love. To me, it's a classic. It's a masterpiece, well made from director Stanley Kubrick. And the thing is, though, you share your own film on Maximum Overdrive, which I love. I grew up watching Maximum Overdrive. It was a fun popcorn B movie with Emilio Estevez, Green Goblin truck. Love the soundtrack by AC/DC. But he'll praise the 2017 remake of It Part 1, Part 2 even. He probably praise the remake of Pet Cemetery. But I guarantee he'll probably end up praising this film. Like I said, he'll just praise anything nowadays, except for The Shining, or even Maximum Overdrive. But it's mostly The Shining, which I'm sorry, Stephen King, you're full of shit. Okay. I guarantee he'll probably praise this remake more than this. Okay. I guarantee it. But and also, the thing is, I'm sure people are going to criticize that this was not like an adaptation of the book at all. Now with the book, okay, just getting into a little bit of it for what I read, it was much more of a darker story, and the ending was kind of depressing, like the character of Ben Richards. That's Schwarzenegger's name is. But the character in the book, his family died, and Ben Richards, the character, end up driving this plane right into the broadcast building. So it was kind of it was more of a dark. It was much more of a serious story, but also a depressing ending as well. And I'm sure people, if Stephen King saw this, I forget that he probably criticized it was not the right adaptation. But to me, it was a very fun it was a very fun film for me. So yeah, probably when people criticize, oh, it's not like the book. This is, and it was also the whole thing. Not in this that took place not in this setting, but it was like the also in the book, like the running man would go like across like the country. And I think they take that part and put it in this because they say like he has to go across the nation of this country. I guess. I think that's if I watched on the trail. I think that's they took that part from the story and put it in this film. And he does have a family in this, a wife and a little baby. But the thing is, just the look of the film, it's once again, it's not dark, you know, it's not a dark setting looking movie from what is it from the book. So it's a much more lighter, flashier tone. So it's definitely not gonna be like the book, not being that dark, having that dark tone into it. No. And now the cast, Glenn Powell, which now he is like Bill Skarsgård, and who's the other actor who's starring in everything? Pedro Pascal. Now this guy is now starring in everything now. I mean, Twisters from last year. I did admit I liked him in that film because I liked his character. I did, but Twisters was not overall not my it was not my favorite of last year. It was it was to me it was like pretty much like a remake of the first Twister, except it's called Twisters. That's what pretty much looks like it was. But overall I was not a fan of Twisters. He probably got more roles because he starred in Top Gun Maverick, which was a huge success. But that's the reason why he's getting more roles because his star. But do people forget that he starred in Expendables 4? Stupid. No, not that. No, not that piece of shit. That's even worse. Expendables 3. People forget that he was in Expendables 3. To me, back then, he was a nobody back then. I didn't even know who Glenn Powell was. I never knew. Back then, to me, he was a complete nobody to me. I'm sure people didn't remember for good reason. People forgot that he was in that. But it's like until like after Top Gun Maverick, then he started starring in more movies now, and now he's like starring in everything, like with Pedro Pascal and Bill Skarsgård. So, and he's not okay. He's not the worst actor. He's not a terrible actor, okay? But do I think he's like good enough to lead starring role in movies? No, I don't think so. I mean, like Twister is okay. Yeah, it was a lead girl in Twisters, but he was like the second main guy. But I liked his character. I liked him because I liked his character in that film. But do I think he's leading man material? I don't know. I don't think so. I just now I say he's better than Bill Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård. I'm sorry. I don't like Bill Skarsgård. The reason I liked him in that film, um, it was a film. It was like last year or so, or 2023. It was a film where he didn't talk at all. It was a boy kills world. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was like Boy Kills World. The reason why I thought it was good at because he didn't have to talk at all. But to me, do I think Glenn Powell's better than Bill Skarsgård? Maybe so, but it's not saying much. But I'm not big on Glenn Powell though. Overall, but he's the guy who's the running man, and so he wants to get paid to do this challenge on this game show, run across without being killed or caught, and he gets the money to help his family out. Now, since he has a wife and kid, is he going to go the depressing route like in the book? Probably not. Probably not. Because this doesn't look like a dark film at all. At all. Then you got Josh Brolin, who's the TV show's producer. I like Josh Brolin. He's definitely. I rather have him as a lead than Glenn Powell. Honestly, I mean, he's done better. I mean, it was like, uh, and then, but he's starring bad films as well. You know, And then you got Coleman Domingo, or was it? Yeah, I think it was Coleman Domingo, or was the other way around, or was it Domingo Coleman? Hold on, well, guys, I don't want to screw it. I know I screwed. I always get a lot of names wrong, so hold on. Yeah, Coleman. Yeah, Coleman Domingo. Coleman Domingo. Yeah. So I had it right the first time. He's the guy who, when I first saw him, when he first appeared on Fear the Walking Dead, like the spin off series of The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. That's where the main cast, like Cliff Curtis's family, got him and uses boats to go to Mexico. And so, yeah, Coleman Domingo, yeah, he was in Fear the Walking Dead. I saw him in the Candyman remake. I haven't said anything on that though, but he's appeared in quite a few things though. He's the host, basically being the Richard Dawson character, and said, "This is America. We don't take no bullshit from anybody." So yeah, he's playing like this is America's game show. Like yeah, like this was it's America's game show, and I'm pretty sure they saw the America. I think they should. Before I saw they saw the American flag. I'm guaranteed there's gonna be probably some PC bullshit in this somewhere, which I'm so sick and tired of. Because the way things are going right now, when those stupid idiots burning American flags, this pisses me off. So like wherever they burn American flags, you don't deserve to be here. You don't. If you hate this country so much, then get out of here. Then that's all I gotta say. It's like I'm sure by showing that, I'm sure it's gonna cause some rage. I don't know, because people criticize anything nowadays when they see something like that nowadays in films. And yes, I did hear about the whole thing, about the whole bullshit about going on with the Superman movie. I heard about that. I'm not getting into it. That's a whole completely different subject. Which I mean is, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in seeing the Superman movie anyway to begin with, because I'm burned out on superhero films. I don't give a shit about the new Superman movie. Yes, I did hear all this stuff about the stupid woke things, or regarding about the immigrant thing that James Gunn and Sean Gunn said. Okay, I'm not getting into it. That's a completely different subject. Getting back to this. And then you got Michael Cera, who I'm not really a fan of, which Edgar Wright used in one of his other movies, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I'm not big on Michael Cera, but he's the one who kind of helps him out. So like at the end of the trailer, he electrocutes some guards. William H Macy is in this. I like William H Macy. He's another good actor, which I haven't seen him as of lately though in films. Or perhaps I missed it though, but still. But I like William H Macy, but I probably guarantee he's probably gonna die. Probably he's probably gonna help out Glenn Powell and then die. And then you get something action, which is basically it's run of the mill. It's like the action we've all seen before. Although I probably will say it'll probably be some decent action. I'll probably say like some of the action scenes will probably be decent, but it's nothing to run home about. It probably isn't. I mean, we see him run down the hall, go into this elevator shaft. He gets kicked a grenade. He throws a grenade. One of the bad guys kick it back, and he throws it upwards. Then he jumps down to the sewer part, and he's like laughing, ha ha ha. But I was one thing, the humor. I don't think it's not funny at all. Because there's a moment where he says kiss my ass. He gives the middle finger while smacking his ass wearing tidy whities. So the humor, I don't think it doesn't work at all. Or like, okay, there's something like in the original, like how, like I said, when Arnold's holding the camera and he's saying, "I'm gonna ram my fist through your stomach and rip your goddamn spine." We see a moment where you see Glenn Powell, he's holding the camera and he's like, whatever he said, he's like, "Ha!" And then he gives the middle finger. So he's kind of doing like a similar thing, holding the camera to show the audience. So yeah, this trailer sucks. I guarantee probably people are gonna say it's probably better than the original, because some people say, "Oh, this film is too cheesy, it's corny." Sorry, I completely disagree. To me, I have a lot of fun watching The Running Man with Arnold, Richard Dawson, Yoficato, Marika Chino Alonso. I was like, here is Sub Zero, now Plane Zero. I mean, or what was it? Oh, he was a pain in the neck. How about a light? I'll be back. Well, I said I would be back. Wouldn't want to disappoint him. Do want to be able to, you know. So yeah, it's just another one. It's the thing is, it's also it's trying to capitalize once again on Stephen King, because Stephen King over the past years has made money. Like I said, the It movies made money. Even the Pet Cemetery remake made money. Not much though, but it made over 100 million worldwide, so it still made money. But the humor doesn't work. Some of the action may seem competent, but it's run of the mill, nothing we've seen before. The cast, like, I'm not big on Glenn Powell. I don't think he's the lead star material. Josh Brolin and William H Macy, I like them, but it's just roles for them for paychecks. I mean, anyone could play these guys though. Even like I said, even director Edgar Wright. This doesn't look like his style of film he does at all. It doesn't. It doesn't fit his. It doesn't fit at all. This is a nice paycheck for him, but okay, Grant, he does it with a more bigger budget. I guarantee it's probably the biggest budget film he's done yet. I guarantee it. But I'll just go watch the films I enjoy. Especially, I enjoyed Baby Driver. I'd rather go watch that. I'd rather watch World's End, which I'm not really huge on, but easily, I rather watch Shaun of the Dead 10 times, 100 times over, or Hot Fuzz 50 times over. I mean, because I've seen Shaun of the Dead so many times, I can watch that film 100 times without getting tired of it over this movie. I can even watch Hot Fuzz 50 times over, then watch this film and not get tired of it. I'm surprised that Simon Pegg or Nick Frost are not in part of the cast, not even as cameos in this film. I'm surprised they never got fit. Probably because working with Edgar Wright again. Okay, but I'm surprised they were not going to be asked to do cameos in this movie. So yeah, I just rather watch this and watch it and have fun with it. I haven't reviewed this film, so I'll have to review this sometime down the road, and let alone do like one of my top favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Oh, Last Action Hero. That's another one I love. Also underrated as well. I mean, as pains me as the scenes, speaking with Arnold, I'd rather watch Batman and Robin than watch this. As much as it pains me to say, because at least it did some practical set pieces, and I mean, I'd rather tolerate Arnold's bad acting in Batman and Robin than this whole movie. I know, I'm crazy for saying though, but I just like, it's just, I'm just, I've already said this over and over again about remakes. How many times do I have to say it? That's to the point where it's like, yeah, I'd rather watch a bad movie rather watch this movie. I mean, at least Batman and Robin at least has some good practical set pieces and practical vehicles, and at least I like the soundtrack from Batman and Robin. I do. At least that film has a good soundtrack. And what was it? Was it done by Elliot Golfino who did the score for the film? At least the score was decent, but still, I'd rather watch Batman. If it is going about Arnold movies, I'd rather watch Batman Robin over this. But still, that ain't saying much because Batman Robin is still a god awful movie though. But at least that film looked like it has a big budget. It does. But yeah, like I said, despite how much I hate Batman and Robin, there is still some positive I can still say about it though. I still did. I think when I reviewed it, Batman and Robin, I did say some positives about it though. But it is still one of them considered one of the worst movies ever made though. Still, but I'm just going on and on now. But just I'd rather watch this. No, well, I guarantee I'll probably will watch it in the theater. I guarantee it. Then I'll have to do rant about it though. But because that's how I always do. If I don't see things, because I don't do streamings. I haven't spent my money on streamings and stuff like that. I mean, one of my hobbies is going to theaters and get a good theater experience. Watching the big screen. That's always been my hobbies, and I always enjoy doing it. So I guarantee you sometime later when it comes out, I'll probably end up seeing it, though. Despite I already know my thoughts on it. But like I said, there's one thing I always say about films. I always like to be proven wrong. Even if it's a remake. Like, speaking of, the Child's Play remake. I like the Child's Play remake. I thought it was be crap, but I enjoyed it. But so there can be like a remake of this time that could prove me wrong. I always want to be proven wrong. You know? If I'm wrong, I man up and admit to it. But if I know it's gonna be shit, I'll admit that it's shit. So yeah, I do like to be proven wrong. I do. That's why I go to movies, to prove myself wrong. I challenge it. So, but the way with this film, I guarantee I probably will say it looked like shit. So, but anyway, that's it. So that's my thoughts on the trailer for the Running Man 2025 remake. I'll rather stick watching this and have a lot of fun and get enjoyment out of it. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you next time. Later.